there's a persistent theme in my life, and I think you'll find that persistent theme in lots of folks who have achieved, different types of success, particularly success where maybe it's in unique ways. You're going to find these individuals that pop up in their life that played a key role as a sponsor, as a mentor, or as a coach. And so I'm a huge believer that as leaders, we need sponsors, mentors, and coaches in our lives, right? So early on for me, I was so incredibly blessed to have uncles, amazing uncles that even though my biological father wasn't there, my grandfather, my uncles were, I was blessed to have my dad come into my life who married my mom when I was 5 and is a wonderful man. And an incredible has incredible character, and he taught me things. And then when I went to boarding school, Frank Longstreth. Then I went to Miami, had other faculty members, but there was a key individual who was a peer, who became important to me. And one of the things I tell young people and just leaders in general is, you can have some mentors who are, aspirational. Maybe you just kind of watch their movements through YouTube or whatever media. You have others that are going to have an intimate relationship with you and maybe be on, a day-to-day contact. There's going to be other mentors that maybe are on a board of advisors, right? So you're making big decisions. You call this person up. And then there's other mentors who maybe are peers, right? And maybe they just done figured something out, or they figured a piece of it out. And I think we don't leverage the peer-to-peer mentor game enough, particularly as black men and as young black people. How we trade information and exchange information, not for a social exchange, or you're going to do something for me, but just giving it to you to help one another and building out a greater knowledge and greater affirmation of what we can all accomplish. For me, it started with a brother named Walter Kimbrough, who is now Dr. Walter Kimbrough. In fact, from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's now the president of Dillard University. And shout out to Walt, also known as Big Brother Crusher. He's an alpha, as in my Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Yes, unsolicited shout out there. But Dr. Walter Kimbrough at the time was just Walt, right? And he was a grad student at Miami, and I was an undergrad, and I met him my freshman year, and he, along with several others, were they were captivating for me as a young black man, because I had never seen young brothers who had it together like that academically. They dressed nice. They were incredible students. They had goals. When I met him, I'm 18, 19 years old. He knew at the time he was doing his master's. I'm gonna write my master's thesis on Black Greeks. I'm gonna write a book on Black Greeks. I'm gonna get a PhD. I'm gonna be VP of Student Affairs. I'm gonna be president of HBCU. He knew that at 22, 23. So one of the things I believe great success is about having clear goals early on. The earlier you can clarify your goals, the more time you have to pursue those goals. And to understand that the goal, once you set it, don't set goals unless you really want to accomplish it. And then once you set it, the plan may differ. The plan may evolve, but the goal doesn't shift. That's when the grit and resilience comes in. But he knew those things, and so it shaped me. And it was from that, early on in that freshman year, I decided I wanted to get a PhD. Didn't know in what quite yet. I knew I wanted to do diversity work, but didn't know at the time I wanted to do organizational change work and diversity strategy work and program development work, change management work. That came a little later when I went to Michigan. And, and the thing one thing I will offer is that, when I was in my master's program, because I stayed from undergrad to master's at Miami and then went to Michigan. It was in the master's program at Michigan that I got hit by the Holy Ghost again. The first time was diversity and inclusion. The second time was organizational change, strategy, structure, processes, people, reward system. I knew I wanted to do diversity work, but at the time I was thinking more be a classic scholar, a sociologist, an anthropologist, a historian. But what I realized was that with those disciplinary areas, while powerful for understanding the issues of poverty, inequity, racism, systemic discrimination, all those things, what they didn't give you was the tools to do something, right? You can analyze the problem, but you needed the tools of policy. You need the tools of legal affairs. You need the tools of understanding legislative dynamics. You need the tools of therapy and counseling, or you needed the tools of change management, right? So these different toolkits to do something with the issues that you've come to understand and can explain. For me, it was the organizational change and the strategic piece. And so I got the diversity piece first, the org piece at Miami second really came in, and then when I went to Michigan, it ultimately became about fusing them together. That I was going to be the person who was trained like a McKinsey consultant from a strategy perspective, from a research perspective, but I was going to bring the analytical lens of, a great sociologist or psychologist, but the issues I was going to work on was going to be diversity and inclusion.